Hey, what's up, Salt Strong family? This is Pat Ogletree, and in this video, I want to talk about planning a fishing trip when you're going on vacation. I know this is the time of year where we have a lot of members that are going on vacation, maybe going up to grandma's to see them for Thanksgiving, or they're taking the family down to the beach and they want to get on some fish. Or there's also the other type of vacation where you're actually planning a trip specifically to do some fishing. And what I want to do is I want to give you some tips on how you can make that trip more successful and take a little bit of the guesswork out of where to go, especially if it's in an area that you've never been before. And it's all going to start on the dashboard. If you haven't seen the dashboard, the community dashboard, that is this right here. And all the information that you need is going to be found right here. And there's two different ways to plan this type of trip. There's one, the simple way, and two, the detailed way. And one is not better than the other when it comes to the type of planning. It just really depends on what type of person that you are. If you really want to get into the details and really fine hone what your plan is, I can give you the detailed part. Or if you want to just show up and do some fishing, I can actually give you a really quick shortcut on how to find that. So basically, let's start with the simple way. It's going to be really easy, and it really is just as simple as going into your smart fishing spots. Say we'll just go ahead and pull this up, and we're in the Florida area. So we're going to visit grandma down here in St. Petersburg. Really, all we have to do is pull up your smart fishing spots and then click on smart spots, and then the ones that pop up are going to be the ones that you need to go to. Those are going to be the ones that are going to put you into an area where there should be some fish. So as long as there's bait in the area, you're probably going to be able to catch some fish. And the cool thing about this is you can actually look at these this map right here, and say you're a land-based angler. You're not going to bring your boat, you're not going to bring your kayak, so you're just fishing from shore. Well, anytime that you look and you see anything like this park right here that's next to a smart fishing spot, you're going to be able to have some sort of water access when it comes to being able to find it. There's some here, then you can move up here. There's another park up here that's right on the water, another one here. All of these are going to have some sort of water access to. Now, it might be, you're not going to have maybe a ton of water access at a lot of those, but if you set up enough of these spots, you can try one, move to the next, try the other one, and then move to the next. And that's pretty much the simple way of being able to get on the water and get some quick fishing in when you're on a family vacation. And this has worked for me. I've plenty of times I've done this where I've just gone to an area for a day and I just wanted to get on some fish quick. I pull up the smart fishing spots and I go hit that up. Now, let's talk about the more detailed way of planning a trip when it comes to vacation time with a family. So let's go back into our dashboard right here, and this is where it all really starts. This is where I go to, and if some of you don't realize that I am a traveling fishing coach, meaning I live full-time in an RV, and I will go from state to state or spot to spot, and I fish that area and I make fishing reports out of it. So what I do to plan my next spot is I start about 2 weeks out. So let's say I'm going to go from one state to the next state. I'm going to start looking at the trends that were in that area from the previous history, and where we find that out is in the regional maps. I do believe that this is probably one of the most underutilized tools that we have in our whole library of tools that we have. So just to give you an instance, we'll use that St. Pete as an example. We can click on the view regional map, and what I'm going to do is I'm looking at historic trends. I'm not looking for current trends right now. So we're going to go ahead, say I'm going to do it this month. Say we're going to go down there in November time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this filter right here, and then I'm going to click on November. And what that's going to do, it's going to filter out all of the reports that are not in November, so you can just see the ones that are in that area. And again, what I'm looking for is I'm just looking for for trends that's been happening historically throughout the years. And then what you can do is you can click on each one of these reports, and it'll kind of tell you, you can get a lot of information. It'll tell you what kind of fish they're to be caught, what they're biting on, what lures that they're using, or what live bait that they're using. So, this one was from last year. Now, I understand this isn't a current report, but again, I'm just looking for trends for what's available in that time of year. Now, again, like I said, what you can do is you can click through each one of these and kind of read and get the general feel for what's in the area. And this is really helpful if you've never been to the area before. Now, another thing that you can do as it gets closer, you can actually filter this down to the last 7 days, and that'll really start dialing in what the current trends are. But when it comes to planning the trip out, you can do this even 2-3 months out. It doesn't matter how long out it is. If you know you're going to be in a certain area at a certain time, the more time that you have to really get an idea of what is available there, the more time that you have to plan it. So let's go ahead and move to 7 days. So we've got the 7-day filter on, and then we'll scroll in, and we've got some reports here that are telling you what the current trends are and what we're catching them on. So George went out there, and I know he caught some redfish. I saw this report. So you could just click through and see what the actual current, what's going on right now in the area. Now, another tool that we have that's going to help you out is going to be what we call the weekend game plan. Now, if you're not familiar with what the weekend game plan is, that is a report that the coaches put out, and we break down what the trends are in specific areas. We have one for the Gulf Coast of Florida, for the East Coast of Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, all over Texas, all over the East Coast. And if you're not watching these, this definitely is giving you some really good information on what the current trends are right now. So it's something that you want to check out. You can click here on the regional page over on this side of the home page, and then scroll down and find whatever area that you're looking for. And what I like to do currently, like if I'm going to be fishing in an area, I'm not looking at just the trends in that specific county or that specific zip code. I'll look to see what the general area, the general trends are in that state. So even on this one, if I was fishing over on the West Coast, I'm going to watch Tony's report on the East Central, and then I'm going to watch Luke's over here on the West. And the reason why I'm going to do that is I want to gather as much information as I can, because a lot of these trends are going to be the same. You're going to be, seeing the same type of activity on the East Coast as you are the West Coast. Just the area might look a little bit differently. So, you'll get information like, wind-blown points or oysters or anything along those lines, and it can be used on both the East Coast and the West Coast. So definitely check that out. Now, another thing that you should do whenever you've gathered up all your information, so you've looked at your report, you looked at the trends, you've watched the regional game plan, the weekend game plan, you want to make sure you have the right tackle. So say specifically, this might sound simple, but say you're in an area where you commonly use the power prawn. That is the lure, that is your confidence lure. It's what you use. But if you look in the trends and you're finding that they're biting on the 2.0 style paddle tail or the bomber style paddle tail, then you'll want to make sure and just go to the tackle store and check that out. So there's been some times where I've gone on trips before and I really didn't pay attention to the trends, and I just didn't have the right equipment for what I needed. So after you find those trends and you figure out the tackle that you need, make sure you got the hooks and the jig heads that you need, go to the tackle store, get everything that you need, and do this a couple of weeks out to make sure that you have what you need before you get out there and find out the hard way that you don't. So starting about a week out, what I start doing is I look at the weather. So say we have general ideas of what the weather is going to be like in a certain area. Typically, Florida is going to be warmer than the most of the rest of the country. But what we really want to look at is we want to look for any type of anomalies, any type of cold snaps, any type of wind situation. As I am recording this right now, we actually have a storm brewing. We have a hurricane brewing out there. So, if you were going to come this weekend and do some fishing in Florida, well, that's definitely going to change what you probably planned on doing. But let's go back to that Tampa area right here. And we'll just kind of zoom in and pull down this weather forecast right here. And then what I'm looking for is, like I said earlier, I'm looking for any type of drop in weather temperature, a spike in weather as far as the temperature goes, and then I'm looking for wind. And the reason why I'm doing this is that it has a lot to do with the fish behavior. You get a major drop in temperature, say your highs go from 80 degrees and now the highs are 60 degrees over a weekend, and they stay that way. That temperature drop is going to put those fish in a different type of mood than they were when the temperature was consistent. So it's something to think about when you're planning your vacation out there. So if you do have a drop in that temperature, then you want to start thinking about deeper areas where maybe before you were thinking you were wanting to fish the flats. So definitely keep that in mind. And also wind. So let's go ahead and pull up that smart fishing spots again real quick, and say we wanted to fish we had an idea. We were going to go to Bay Vista Park and we were going to fish this smart fishing spot labeled down here. But this day we've got a north-northwest wind, at 37 miles an hour. We probably don't want to be out there, so we'll change our plans. But even say on a day like this, on Friday, where we're at 16 to 18 miles an hour with 28 mile an hour gusts, yeah, that might be, that's not that bad. I mean, it's a lot of wind, but what you want to do is you want to look at wind protection. You're probably not going to want to fish this shoreline right here. That's just going to be in the brunt of that wind. You'll probably want to move over here to this park over here, or maybe even some protected waters like this over in this area and fish these spots. So it's definitely a good idea to keep an eye on the weather. And like I said, I start doing this about a week out, and then pretty much daily after that, because the weather changes a lot. These forecasts, we update them every 15 minutes in the Smart Fishing Spots app. So even the night before, I'll take a look at the weather to make sure it's still doing what it plans to do. And what you can do is you can actually look, what I do actually is I'll look at what the weather's doing the day before, the day of, and the day after to kind of get an idea what the trend is going to be. If you have 3 days in a row where the weather is predicted to be the same, then you're probably going to not have that much change. But if you do have a weather system that's moving in, that weather system could come in quicker or it could move further away. So it's just something to keep in mind while you're out there and making your vacation plans. So now that you've gathered up all this information, you now know what the seasonal trends are, what the weekly trends are, what the fish are biting on, what lures and what bait that they're using. And then you can go back and check your tackle, and you're looking at the weather, and you're going to be more well prepared to have a successful fishing trip. So I hope these tips help you out, and I hope you can use these to help plan your trips. And I know we got a lot of people going on vacation, and I hope the best for you. I hope you can get on some fish, and I hope this helps you out. If you've got a way that you like to plan a fishing trip, put those down below. I'd like to know what other information you like to see or what you look for, or maybe there's even something on this Smart Fishing Spot that you'd like added that might help you out. That would be good to know. Just put those down in the comments below. And as a traveling fishing coach, you never know where I'm going to end up next, and hopefully I can see you on the water sometime soon. Until then, I appreciate you watching. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye. And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we are the best online fishing club in America, where we guarantee that you'll catch more fish in less time, and we do this through premium education and our new app called Smart Fishing Spots. This app will actually show you where and when to fish, along with so much more. And our insiders get a huge discount on all the tackle that they need to become a successful inshore fisherman. And they make friends fast, or it's free. For more information, go to saltstrong.com, and until then, we hope to see you in the insider community soon.